Back when I started studying the subconscious about 15, 20 years ago, I wasn't really sure what it was all about. And I kind of thought it was a little woo-woo, to be honest. And as I've studied this stuff, and then I've gotten into AI more, I made this YouTube video a while back that I thought it was kind of clickbaity when I said that ChatGPT reprogrammed my subconscious mind until I really started diving into it. I'm on the board of an AI company, and I started understanding if you use AI correctly, it actually can start showing you your subconscious blocks and helping you release those blocks as well. So on this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly my approach to identifying what my subconscious blocks are and then what I do going about relieving them so I can step into this new identity for my business, for my life, and ultimately to build the wealth that I truly desire and the life that I really want to live. What's up, guys? My name is Nico Rapkless. Let's not waste any time and let's dive into this topic. So as mentioned, I kind of thought this was a clickbaity thing. And, when I first started this stuff and the subconscious, like, what really is this? But what I started understanding is that the subconscious literally controls 95, if not 99% of our life. And it's literally programmed by the time we're about 12 years old, which is kind of crazy. And then we're like just all running on autopilot from there, because here's the thing is that we have about 70,000 thoughts per day, and most of them are the same because they're all subconscious, and that's how the subconscious is the thing that's actually driving everything in our life. Because think about it like this: we are a fighter pilot, a jet fighter pilot. Okay, that is our conscious mind, but our subconscious mind is actually the fighter jet that is on autopilot. Okay, and so no matter what we do as the pilot, and we go, hey, I want to go left a few notches, or I want to go right a few notches, but as soon as you let go of that steering, it goes zoop, and it goes right back, right? And so in order for us to really make changes in our lives, then we have to reprogram our subconscious for what it's programmed for. And before we can even do that, we have to know what exactly we are programmed for. Because here's the thing is that most people don't even realize is what they actually are programmed for, or what kind of blocks that they do have. And if you don't know that kind of stuff, if you don't make the make the unconscious conscious, then you'll continue to live that type of life and you'll call it fate. That was a quote I heard a while back. So I'm paraphrasing there. So you have to understand what your blocks are. So if you are inconsistent and you keep going back to old patterns, say you're going good for a little while, you set like a 90-day challenge or a 30-day challenge, and it goes well for a little while, and then you fall back. And then you continue to be indecisive, or you hesitate, you're not really sure, like, what should I do? And you're just not taking action, and it's not sustaining. That means that there's some sort of subconscious block. And again, we're going to start identifying that on this call. And I'll show you exactly what mine are so that you can see it. And we'll walk through some AI and ChatGPT, because here's the thing about chat. See, I understood about, probably it's been about like 6 months now. I was speaking at an AI conference or AI summit, and they basically explained it just like this, and it resonates so deeply to me. And that's what I've shared with a lot of people now, is that AI, ChatGPT, whichever large language model that you're using, it is simply a pattern recognizer, okay? A pattern recognizer. And why do I smile when I talk about that? Well, that's really cool, because like what we said, our subconscious is simply, it's just a accumulation of all our patterns, because our patterns keep on articulating, okay? And that's how we live our life, is based on our patterns, and they developed at a very young age, okay? So what's really cool is that the more that you feed AI, the more that you talk to it, the more that you understand it and just keep on talking to it, it's going to start recognizing your patterns, okay? Now, here's the caveat, is that it can start being an echo chamber if you let it. But if you start utilizing it the way I'm going to show you here on this video, then you'll start understanding how powerful it really can be, okay? So that's kind of all a tee up for what I wanted to share with you here on this video. And so from there, let's talk about how do we start actually identifying our subconscious blocks, the things that are pulling us down, not allowing us to stay consistent or make those changes that we truly want to create inside of our life. Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So I'll come over to ChatGPT here. And this is the one that I use. I mean, obviously there's all sorts of different ones, and there's all the buzz going about, Grok and Gemini and They're all great, right? I just select one because here's the reason that I do really like to select just one, at least for right now. My opinion might change on this, but I like it to get to know me really well, because here's the thing is that where this actually came from, this whole subconscious stuff, is because I had a client that I was doing this type of work, and I always had this vision to create what I call a subconscious audit, because again, this whole conversation around the subconscious, it's kind of like ambiguous. It's like, how do you even know what you're programmed for? What does autopilot really mean, right? And so if you don't really know where you're programmed for, it's hard to like reprogram it, right? If you don't know where the airplane is going, then you don't know like how to adjust it, right? We always have to have awareness where we are, where we're going, and then we can course correct from there, right? So here's the thing is that our language patterns tell us everything. You can talk to somebody and you can know exactly what's going on if you listen. You can know exactly what's going on, because here's the thing, like I said, we have 70,000 thoughts per day. Most of them are the same, but it's very challenging to keep track of 70,000 anything in a single day, right? What tells us a lot more that's indicative of what our thoughts is our language. Because a language, our words, are just a dictation of what's going on internally. So if you can start identifying what's going on in your words, it'll tell you everything. And so I've studied this stuff. I've coached on this stuff for, over a decade now. And so I've gotten a really good ear to like understand where people are going and what are they programmed for, what are their beliefs, what are their identity. And so as I was coaching one of my clients, I'm very conscientious of like, okay, these are the words that she's using, and we can be intentional about the words that we use, because then that alone right there can help us start reprogramming the subconscious. Because if we do that, if we start being more intentional with our words, it really can start dictating and navigating our thoughts more and more. Okay? So understand that and just be conscious of the words they use, and you'll notice that there'll be some that pop up, and I'm still like becoming more aware of my words, and that's again where AI comes into place here on that actually helps me with this. And the reason I tell you all of that is because then I had this vision for creating what I call the subconscious audit, where we basically can unpack and see what's really going on in the subconscious. And so that's exactly what I did. I recorded our Zoom conversation, because I was continuing to call her out on things like, hey, you're saying this, hey, you're saying this. And like after a while, it was just like too much. I couldn't just keep on calling her out because we wouldn't get anywhere on the conversation. So I said, all right, I'm going to record this. And then I record all my calls. And then I loaded this into, for this particular one, I loaded into ChatGPT, and I said, based on all the language patterns here, tell me like what's going on. And I started like really workshopping it back and forth, and all of a sudden then I built out this chart and this graph, and it kind of showed the health of her subconscious and where it was programmed for. And so I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like I could only imagine what this would do for me, right? And so that's where this whole idea was born, because ultimately, like if I'm having conversations with chat a lot, and I do, I've actually trimmed it down a little bit, and I'll tell you why here in a second, but if it knows you really well, and it can identify your language patterns, and it keeps on seeing similar language patterns, it'll start telling you, if you prompt it correctly, it'll tell you what exactly is going on in your subconscious that maybe you're not even seeing. And so it really comes down to prompting and communicating with the language model so that it can give you the best feedback. Because again, most people, they're out there saying what's a good restaurant or whatever it is. I don't really know exactly what everyone's doing with it, but that's my assumption essentially, from what I've concluded. But when you prompt it correctly, it is one of the most powerful tools. Okay? The more that you speak to it, the more that you prompt it, the more that you know how to communicate it well, the more context that you give it, the more powerful it becomes. Okay? If you're giving it just little things and you're typing it out, which you shouldn't be typing anymore, and I'll show you why and the reasons how you can do this at a very quick rate, because like if you do this fast, like things can really start opening up for you. And I believe that like even the people I've coached, like their intellect, their IQ has gone up significantly since using AI, when most other people are just becoming even more distracted and confused and lost because of AI. which that's a whole nother topic of discussion. Okay, so with that all being said, let's come over to AI here, and you'll notice, and I talk about this in my videos all the time, I have this app. It is called Whisperflow. So if you are interested in this, I would highly recommend it. I'll put a link down in the description. You can click on that and you'll open this and you'll download it and it'll be on your computer. And what's really cool about Whisperflow is that you simply can hold down the function key once it is downloaded. So I'll say, this is the function key. And I let go, and then boom, it just types out exactly what I say. And what's kind of cool about this too is that this is really great for emails or just any type of communication, because it will punctualize, it'll like do all the grammar and everything. It's really beautiful. So with that all being said, now I can speak and I can just let things flow out of me, as opposed to like kind of guarding it and be like, oh, what do I got to say, what I got to do, right? So, and I use this all the time in my business. I'm always doing this when I'm communicating with clients. And I would highly recommend that you do that in your business as well, because it just makes you a much more efficient entrepreneur and much more effective. And that's really what we're all about. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to prompt it really well. And ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what I'm doing, as opposed to like, hey, this is the specific exact prompt. And really how I look at this stuff is it's not necessarily about, prompting the right thing and having one nice big prompt. I always say it's like workshopping it. Like you're continually having a conversation with AI. But again, I want to just warn you here is that AI can quickly become a echo chamber, and you get lost in it, and it'll just like start like it'll dictate everything based on your patterns. So you again have to become even more aware of this, which is why I recommend you do meditation. That's why I recommend you pray. That's why I recommend that you get into silence and you start becoming more and more aware, right? Outside of just AI. And this is everything that we talk about inside of our Skool Community. We have Friday connection calls with all sorts of entrepreneurs. It's all based on vision. And then we have our powerful tool, as you probably know, if you've been around this YouTube channel for any period of time, called Vision Espresso, that we do a 75 easy challenge where it's basically your future self that is communicating with you, keeping you on point, keeping you decisive, locked in, away from hesitation, away from indecision. And our clients just crush when they go through that, because they command and they speak with conviction on who they are becoming, and they get massive clarity through this whole process. Most people are just like absolutely scattered, distracted, confused, like don't even know, they have no clarity. So when they go through Vision Espresso, they get massive clarity, they become so much more decisive, and they can make better decisions inside of their business. And then after that, after they go through that whole process, now they have an audio that they can listen to every day that starts rewiring their subconscious every single day. And then we put them in a challenge. We have incentives, we have prizes for people that go through it, we have prizes for people that engage in our Skool Community the most. So if you want to know more about any of and all that stuff, just click the links down below. visionespresso.co is our website. So with that being said, is like the way that you communicate, the more aware you are outside of AI, it's going to be so much more powerful, because then you will combat any inklings of AI starting to put you in this echo chamber. Okay, it's really, really important to elevate your communication. And again, we talk all about this stuff inside of our Skool Community. So, all right, let's come over to AI and let's just talk. I'm going to workshop this and just show you exactly what I would do, as opposed to like putting together the perfect prompt. Hey chat, so based on everything that you know about me, I would really like to start uncovering what exactly are my subconscious beliefs. What are my subconscious blocks? What are the things that are holding me back? I want to gain even more awareness, and I want you to start expanding outside of like, I don't want this to like become an echo chamber at all. I don't want you to unnecessarily validate me. I just want us to have like a really powerful conversation back and forth. And based on all everything you know about me, based on my language patterns, the things that continue to show up that I share with you, help me understand where are my subconscious blocks. Where are my subconscious beliefs at? Like, help me just understand myself on a much deeper level, so that I can start gaining awareness around all this stuff, and then we can move forward from there to start reprogramming me for more so what I want. Okay, so you can see like how powerful that is right away using Whisperflow. Boom, it's got it all pasted out. And so what you also can do is I use Speechify. and that allows me to like speak this out. But as I've started doing this, I can just be very quick with reading it. So we'll just read it real quick. I'll break this into observations, core subconscious beliefs, protective strategies, the real tension, I see you running, etc., etc. Okay. Repeating patterns, I see no sugarcoating. You oscillate between certainty and doubt. Fast. Wow. That lands. Okay, you'll be deeply convicted. This is it. This is God's model. This is the future. Then shortly you'll question the foundation. Is this misaligned? Am I off? Is this ego? All right. Number 2, or B. You seek alignment more than you seek permission, but you still want a verdict. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is hitting. I haven't actually done this in a little while, so this is speaking to me deeply. Okay. You intellectualize clarity when emotion is unresolved. Jeez. It's hit me like a ton of bricks right now, seeing where I show up. And what's interesting that I started noticing, and the more you do this type of work, the more aware you become, because like, when you intellectualize clarity but emotion is unresolved, that's when I start noticing that I start numbing out on different things. Like scrolling has been a challenge for me lately, and I notice that because I'm not dealing with certain emotions, and then they're not resolved, and then I intellectualize clarity as well as opposed to feeling in my body. Okay, you are unusually sensitive to misalignment. Wow, so good. And like, here's one other thing I'll share with you too, and I'll probably make this on an upcoming video, so let me know if you would like to see this. But basically, I use a Notion dashboard that I track my entire week. Like, I track a lot of my thoughts and my conversations with God, like everything. And then I load that into chat throughout the week, and then it starts to really start seeing my patterns, right? And so it just like, it's giving it even more feedback, and it's giving more of a glimpse into my life through like just my daily journaling. And then that's why like this is really powerful, because I haven't come to it like this in quite some time. And now it's like showing me, because even I had some experiences with some potential business partnerships brewing, and it just like was not aligned, and there was like this visceral feeling of, no, you can't do it. And so when it says you are unusually sensitive to misalignment, like that's, I'd say that's actually like a really good thing, to be honest. So I won't partake in things that are not for me. All right, let's go. What else? Core subconscious belief. If I fully commit and I am wrong, I'll betray God, my integrity, my true self. Okay, this one's huge. You pressure yourself to get it right. You seek biblical validation and confirmation. You don't want hype, you want truth. Yeah, that's very true. My gift is discernment, so acting without total clarity would be irresponsible. This is wild. I haven't done this in a little bit. Power must be justified. You are comfortable with influence, leadership, visibility, impact, but only if it's earned, clean, aligned, and service-oriented. Any hint of manipulation, emotional persuasion, selling, charisma without depth triggers internal resistance. So a part of you asks, who am I to move this boldly, even when the fruit is good? If I slow down, I'll lose momentum, and if I speed up, I might lose my soul. Jeez, this is hitting hard. Your subconscious protective strategies. Okay, strategy number 1, continuous refinement. You keep refining the message, the theology, the framing, the system. This avoids the vulnerability of saying, this is my stand, I accept the consequences. Jeez. Just ripping me apart, chat. Seeking external mirrors, including me. Damn! Use this conversation to surface the truth, which is good, but notice when the question underneath becomes, tell me if this is okay. Damn. Okay then. Framing everything as service. You emphasize impact, helping others, healing, clarity. That's real, but it also protects you from owning, I want this to be big, I want influence, I want legacy. The actual block, zoomed in all the way out, you don't fully trust God can correct you after your commitment, only before it. What I want to explore with you next, okay? When you imagine going all in on Vision Espresso as it is right now, what's the quiet fear that shows up beneath the excitement? Damn, that's a good question. Question 2, what part of this is afraid that if it works at scale, you'll be misunderstood or worse, misrepresented? Question 3, if God never gave you another sign, confirmation, or verse, what would you choose anyway? So, I mean, wow. So, welcome to me. You guys know me very well now. So, yeah, these are all things that I really sit with. I mean, very true. And I've had like inklings of a lot of this stuff, but I think it's important to just have this awareness, because like that's half the battle of reprogramming your subconscious, is bringing the unconscious conscious, and then you can really start to be like, okay, like why is that coming up? If I slow down, I'll lose momentum, and if I speed up, I might lose my soul. Like, why is that coming up? Where is that coming from? And so again, now I can start unpacking this stuff, and what we do from there is we do these energetic clearings that I've put together. I put some GPTs together. We also have it installed into our app. So yeah, if you guys want to know more information about that, again, visionespresso.co is our website. You can go take our free vision quiz. It's free right now. We've had people that have gained up to 108% more clarity in less than 20 minutes. Really powerful tool. And then that's when you can start getting access to the app, and then you can start getting into the community. But this video is quite long enough, and I think like this is a lot, and I've even kind of like, this is a lot to take on for me right now and like to sit with. So want to help you guys just understand like how to become more aware in this stuff. And then if you guys want me to create like almost like I'll continue to make these videos, but like if you want me to make a specific video that is part 2 of this and how I would go about clearing some of these blocks, then let me know, say part 2 down in the comments, and I'll do that. But it's really just important to have this awareness, because unless you have this awareness, you can't do anything with it, right? It's like you're just flying, but you have no idea where you're flying. You have no idea where it's programmed. Now, if I say like, okay, now I know that it's programmed for going to Hawaii, I actually want to go to Fiji, I know how to change that. So it's important to notice like, hey, we're programmed for Hawaii, now we want to go to Fiji. Now we can start reprogramming the autopilot, right? And so again, like this would be a much longer video if I went into all of that. But just know, like when you start getting more aware, then you can start sitting with this and start asking, like, where is that coming from? Why is that coming up? Like when does it come up the most? And then you can really start unpacking this. And I encourage you to do that even first, before you even dive into AI and how to like really reprogram it. Because if you just start jumping to it, like even with mine, it's like he says you come to me, like you look for external validation, external mirrors to prove that you're right. Even AI. And I think that's the thing that I want to communicate more and more, is that like I think people can rely on AI even too much, and I've been there myself, because again, it is a pattern recognizer, and if I just simply go into these patterns, it already knows me, and it'll like also like tend to like just give me what I want. So yeah, I would go sit with that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit with everything that's given me and slow down a little bit with AI, not feeling like you need to like keep on prompting it and having like an hour-long conversation. So that's what I got for you guys. Again, if you want to go check out the previous video that I did on this, I would highly recommend it. It gave you even more of the beginning stages of this, and it'll help you like really understand this on a much deeper level. So go watch that video. Appreciate you, and we'll talk to you soon.